it is time for us to give our final concluding remarks for the course. We have studied more than 30 awesome ideas in computing and we have shown you how to code it from scratch. We started off from a very basic tool called the Scratch tool. We taught you how to program without even going to a proper standard programming environment. Just by drag and drop technique, you try developing some applications, some straightforward applications. With that, we learned how looping structure works, how variable works, how if then else works, and then we graduated to Python. We saw some 30 cool ideas, implemented all of them. So the computing aspects of it, the science aspects of it, I need to tell you all one important tip. Programming is one subject where there is no starting point and there is no ending point. You just get in, you swim and you keep swimming and you keep learning better and better skills. Now you observed that programming per se involves some standard understanding of some standardized ways of talking to your computer. But then the way in which you talk, the logic that you use is a different kind of skills. Correct? So you observed that some longish programming exercises required you to think very logically, right? Let's say for example, if you are asked to add two matrices, that's going to be quite easy. But if you are asked to multiply two matrices, you see that's going to be non-trivial. So it is not just about Python or C or C++ or Java or any other programming language. It's also about this knack to use a programming language properly. A good analogy would be, you know good English, but are you a good writer? Let's go one step further and say, if you are a good writer, can you be a good poet? You see, all these things require a different set of skills and some sort of a unique talent which is not actually born, it can be made. So a single most important tip that I can give you people is continue to program. All the 30 plus joys that we formulated were the joys that we thought would be fun programming. You probably will not see a single textbook which covers all these things. In fact, many topics you may not even see any web reference to it. So there is no beginning, there is no end. You should just start programming as much as possible. Now, given that we have completed this course successfully, I would like to give you a tip on what next. There are certain aspects of programming, certain aspects of computing that we did not cover because that was not our motive. Our motive was to inspire you to get into programming and do a good deal of it. Now, let me enumerate a few things that you can look at given that you have the knack and experience of going one step ahead and read something advanced. There is this notion of what is called the object-oriented programming approach, where people realize that programming the mundane way from top to bottom, simply writing your code, may not always work. We must use a very object-oriented approach. By that we mean it is not just variables at the low-end level. You see a bunch of variables as an entity. This is best understood when you start getting into this topic called OOPS, which was mainly popularized from the point when C++ was developed, which was the precursor of which was C. C++ had an added advantage from C that you could use a type of programming that was easy on the programmer's mind. So what you can now do is to go ahead and understand how to program using object-oriented approach in Python. Second point, we covered many APIs, but APIs are actually limitless when it comes to Python. So whenever you want to do something, you will find an API for it. There are several standard APIs. Of course, most of it actually we have covered in our course, but there are still a lot more that you can explore, which you should. That's my second tip to you. A third possible point of improvement could be one can learn Python for web programming. That was not covered in the course, but you now have all the skill set to go ahead and understand how web programming can be done using Python. The fourth tip would be, if you are a scientist, a programming language like Python will be indispensable. Again, there are several APIs for a particular type of science doers. You can explore it and use Python for scientific computing. And fifth tip, which is in fact the most important one, is when it comes to programming, your programming requirements are generally not 1 or 2 pages long, just the way our JOIs were in our course. They were all very short codes. If you develop a big application, it might run through several thousands of lines, developed together by several people. So what we did not cover is how to manage a big project in Python. Anyway, that's my fifth tip. You may want to look at it. It's pretty easy now that you know most of what entails Python. Okay, let us now address what is it that one can do after learning a course like Joy of Computing. As I said, if you're a scientist, you can try to implement your knowledge and your expertise in Python in solving your scientific problems. Let's say you're a fun-loving person who would like to develop some unique applications as part of your BTech project or whatever you're studying, or even if you're a graduate and you want to develop an application which you're very passionate about seeing the final product, you can go ahead and develop an application of your choice. Another important tip would be the world is converging towards highly collaborative environments. You can think of joining one of the open source projects on GitHub and contribute to the software development. They'll be developing a package together collaboratively. Dozens of them will be sitting and writing the code. You can also give in your little piece there. And finally, yes, of course, you will have an added advantage over others when you say you have tried answering several random questions using Python and hence you are fit to be a software developer right now. Please note, to be a good software engineer stroke developer, all you need is good amount of confidence and good amount of logical thinking ability. And we strongly believe that we have given these two things to you. Sky is the limit. Please go explore. And as and always, this course might have a sequel. We'll keep you all posted. There's a possibility that we'll come out with JOC 2.0 where we'll talk about a little advanced topics.